Okay, so today I want to talk a little bit about rally and garrison fills because I noticed everybody knows how to put a march in a rally or in a garrison, but I see that we definitely need a training in that, that we definitely need to improve in that. I saw this many times, not only during Apex or the other events, but also during Thermoplaya, that a lot of people don't know the difference between filling, refilling, and refreshing marches in a rally. So I really want to make a distinct difference between that and also the importance of not sending marches directly to a rally. Um, so first of all, I want to see, is there someone who can practice with me so that we can do some stuff? Let me check. Yeah, that'd be nice. That'd be nice. So where 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 do you have your base? Oh well. Well, don't worry. We can do a lot without you having to waste relocating scrolls. Okay. So most of the time, what I try to do before we actually have to do a rally or a garrison, I always give something like a warning. For example, if we're gonna build a trade post, I'll put the marker first to send villagers, to send garrison, that kind of stuff. Um, Before I start the actual building. This is important because once you start building and a garrison is needed, it means that it is connected to an enemy. Once you start building, they can send one tier 1 troop, and poof, the trade post will be gone. They will be able to put their trade post, and you'll lose resources for nothing. Now, the thing you want to do is you want to put marches close already. Always try to do this in a way that it's safe. For example, everything depends on the field. Here you have an allied base, be close to the towers, gathering those marches. There only needs to be one march close, unless they have a lot of marches here, then you start to move in. So that around the timing when we start building, your marches go in. An example of a garrison, uh, so I will just make my fast march, bring it here. Um, and I'm gonna bring a second one. Now let's say I am not a garrison lead. I'm just a player. Now filling a garrison, that's simple. You just bring your march close to it. There is no direct contact right away. Unless you're already like close, like at this distance, you can say like, okay, fuck it, I'm going in. That is just filling of a garrison. Now, refilling of a garrison means that actually you're not in it, but a lot of players are, but there is no room. But it's not because there is no room that you don't need to prepare for garrison, because if we are under siege, there are multiple players who should be already sending their marches close to here, and then what you do is you keep dragging it in until there is room. Now, for example, I have a big march. What you can do is you can also bring maybe smaller march. Depends on how many people are helping. If a lot of people are helping, you might even be better off putting like 50k or 100k marches, but most of the time 100k or above. That means like, for example, here in the garrison, there could be 1.5 million troops. If you put 100k or above, there should be like 15 players or something that could garrison this, and it will be more eventually. Now, normally everybody tries to put one march. That is the essence. You have one march and you already sent the next march for a refresh. So that means, okay, the garrison is full, but they're attacking it and now there is room. And I refill the garrison because it was full, but it got damaged and I'm refilling it. Now, after some time, these numbers will go down. So, depending on how many people are there, you need to make a decision. At some point, the amount of troops you have in your garrison from you, they're gonna drop 100k, 50k. Now, there should never be marches in there with less than 25k. What you do then is you bring another march to here, and what you do then is you pull out your march, your old march, and you bring in the new march. That is called refreshing of the garrison. Because now you have a full march in there again, your other march is gonna return home so that it can repair, and at the same time you can already send a new march to here so they're still attacking it, and by the time your new march arrives, this march will be down quite a bit again. So this march will have dropped to 100k, 50k. Sometimes you need to rotate with more marches. With the garrison, it is important that you can do this shielded. You can go into a hostile zone, relocate. If you relocate smart with your bases, you can put 4 bases really close to the garrison. And what you can then also do is when you're close to the garrison, you can put your towers from your base, also aiming towards the trade post, so that the fighting around the trade post will also affect. Now, if you're a big base, you can use that. If you're a smaller base, you're just gonna shield up, and just bring your marches to the garrison. So, for example, if this was my base, I would try to move it a little bit closer. I would move my rally area close. So if you go to the options here, you can move the structures. So I could take away some of these structures over here. Let me see. For example, I bring them over here. Push that one back as well. And then I can put this one over here. And now what happens if here is my marches will be there a lot faster, so they don't need to walk through my base all that way. They will be much closer. Remind me to put that back later on. So yeah, this is refreshing, and this is what I noticed that a lot of our players don't know about is how essential it is to refresh your marches, because you can have 50 people in the garrison, but if they all have like 1,000 troops left in there, that's still just 50,000 troops in there. So I see a lot that in the garrison there is a lot of marches, 2.5k, 5k, 10k. Well, sometimes I start kicking them because that way you know that like fresh marches can start joining in again and they get marches free. But yeah, that is what you do. Now let's say we're in a situation where when we pull out in March, it gets swarmed right away. Then of course you want to lower that number as much as possible. Because the troops that are gonna fly out, they're gonna be swarmed by the enemy, so they're gonna be in the hospital for sure. So you kind of want to do that as low as possible. But most of the time, what we can also do is if we do it from the R4, is that we start punching out a lot of the low marches at once, so that they will have to choose which of those marches they're gonna attack. But this is refreshing. So once again, we're gonna garrison. Just filling of the garrison, everybody knows. You just put your march in. You first drag it close, then you put it in. Now, if you're doing refilling, that just means like the garrison is already full, but we're gonna have to have people that refill that garrison because it's not gonna stay full. If it's gonna be attacked, people have to start sending marches, and here is where one of the big issues occurs, is that people see like, oh, the garrison is full, so they're waiting for spots before they send their march over. But then by the time their march is here, it's already too late because it's gonna be walking for a minute or half a minute, and those things can go fast. So you need to move close before that time. So the garrison is full, you wait for spots, you keep dragging the march until it goes in. With march expansions, it's gonna be hard for you to get your march in here because if there are multiple people, and then you wait for your march, you already sent a new march, it's already coming over, and then what you can do is you're gonna take out your old march, which has like already not a lot of troops left, and you put in the new march, and then right away you can send the new march to refresh again the next time, and you can rotate like this with 3 or 4 marches depending on how close you are. Now let's say for example the garrison is under heavy attack and you are a base that is really close, then you can send multiple marches. So what you could do then, for example, is you're gonna move like this. So I'm gonna send a few marches now. Mm, check. So you see, you first send them close because there could be a march here. They need to get in first. So I we don't have a lot of people here, so I'm starting to fill the garrison a lot by myself. You always make sure that the right leader is here. Now, for any reason, let's say I am here in second place, and this is another account. What the player could do to get this march in the garrison lead is that you take your march in front of it out and you put it back in. It's like not a lot of time, and now this is the garrison lead. So maybe there is not an R4 online, or they don't see it right away, or they're busy somewhere else. So yeah, another thing you can do is you can have it in such a way that you keep refreshing marches with all your marches. So this march is coming here, so this one has the lowest troops now. You're sending this one back. You're already putting the next one in. Uh, and then by the time your next march arrives here, um, which is gonna be close, I have my base a little bit far away from this trade post, so it might not be the best example. Uh, oh yeah, here you have SOP, very nice. So we're kind of waiting for the next march to come here, and now this march is the one with the least amount of troops. So you sent that one home, and you already sent the next one in, and then you're kind of waiting for your oldest march to return home so that you can send a new one. So you keep rotating marches in and out. At the same time, every time you do this,
What the
every time you do this, also
Okay,
have
good, I
to
will just leave then, no problem, man.
also have to keep in mind that you keep your hospital empty. Yeah? So, for example, what you could do is every time you refresh a march, you also go home, you do your hospital, and you speed it up. Sometimes I know a lot of people they like to repair in badges. Sometimes you don't have time for that. When we're in a very heavy battle and we have an essential garrison, you really just have to speed it up. And by now going back to the trade post every time, that also gives you time to receive the helps that are needed. And that way you can kind of keep rotating troops in and out. You can also look here and then and with the rally it's kind of the same. You have X amount of people in a rally against a certain target, um, and the rally is going and you're filling. You can take not put two marches in the rally, but you can take one march out, and then you can put another march in so that it refills, refresh quite a bit. So this is the essence of yeah, Garrison and rally filling, refilling, refreshing. Most essential parts is don't send troops from far. Bring them first close to the rally or to the garrison before you start putting them in. It's the same idea as with villagers. We can have 30 people, send one villager from 1 hour away. For 1 hour, the citadel or the trade post is not going to be building. So you really want to do it that way. And also with a rally, what you see is people get late. When you see that there are marches closer to the rally that could join, when you're a bit farther away, let them join first. And you send your march to the spot where the rally is gonna hit, so then you can be the refresh march, because there is no reason that the rally has to wait for you for 5 minutes. Well, there are players close by within 1 or 2 minutes range. You're losing the entire team, valuable minutes, seconds, and that could be the difference between winning or losing a battle. For example, I saw this in the thermal playa we just had, is that there were people sending their marches from really far away, while there were people closer that could have filled that rally. So you keep adding minutes, 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 and by the end of the day, you're losing valuable time. These kind of things need to move fast. We need to get the rally going, and then we have time to send refill or refresh marches. That is afterwards. Is there any questions about this? Was the explanation clear? Okay, thank you.